this morning? I hope you're doing wonderful. If this is your very first time watching me, then welcome. My name is Dr. Michelle, and if you're returning, then welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. Today, we are going to talk about 3 feminine ways to keep a man interested in you. Keep a man chasing you. This is a very, very popular topic in the dating world because obviously as a woman, you want to be desired. You want a man to be interested in you long term. So even if you're in a marriage, you want your husband to still want you and to still give you things and chase you and take you on vacation and compliment you and be interested in whatever you're doing. That's a normal human desire, and I don't want you to be ashamed of wanting that. That is normal. However, as a feminine woman, it's going to be important for you to have knowledge on how men operate. So that way you know how to work alongside them. And in addition to that, it's also important that you're able to look within yourself and determine what areas are lacking so that you aren't supplementing certain things with lack in your own life. So I want to talk about all of these things. It won't all happen in this video, so make sure you're subscribed. I will do more videos on this topic, but today I want us to discuss 3 ways that you as a feminine woman can keep a man interested in you long term. So go ahead and get something to eat, something to write with, sit back, relax, and let's jump into the video. So in our society today, we have this pressure as women to keep a man. That notion in itself is so problematic because a person doesn't need to be kept, and the idea and the energy around wanting to keep someone can cause a lot of problems. We won't talk about that today, but I do want you to understand that if you're wanting something so bad and you can't stop thinking about it, you want this man to be calling you and texting you and taking you out and chasing you and buying you things, although it might be human desire and natural and normal, when you are operating in the energy of lack, then you continue to receive and experience that. It's important for you to know that everything you need, you have. So my purpose in this video is to encourage you to develop yourself in a way that would keep a man interested in you long term, and in a way that will help you to preserve who you are. You will feel so fulfilled knowing that you have a balance of both, and that one truly does drive the other. The first thing that I want us to discuss is developing dimensions within you. Just like any human being, when they meet you, they're going to be attracted to whatever you're presenting, especially if you're feminine and you're sweet and you're nice and you're beautiful. They're going to be in love with that and they're going to want more of it. But as a man, men are masculine and that energy is very goal-oriented. So they're more interested in getting what they want, whatever that is. And for every man, it's different. So for some men, they just want to sleep with you, right? That's, I mean, masculinity within itself is very goal-oriented. So if they meet you and they like you, they just want more of it. They want it in their life. Just like if you were in a store, whatever you're shopping for, candles, books, clothing, whatever your eyes are going to be drawn to is whatever you want in your life. Whatever will look good in your house, whatever will look good in your office, whatever will make you look good at a party. Your eyes are going to be drawn to what you want in your life. So that's the first piece. However, that's not enough. You're not a prop. You are more than just your outer appearance. So it's important that you have multiple dimensions. And that's why I encourage you to spend so much time with yourself, doing things that are developing your goals and your passions and your interests and your purpose. That is going to naturally make you a more interesting woman. So I want you to spend time reading books and being knowledgeable about things and having your own opinions, not the opinions of people that you see on social media, but for you to take everything that you see and make your own judgments based on your own personality and your own life experiences and your own desires. On top of that, you have to remember that everyone gets bored after a while, and it's not a negative thing, it's just a state of being. After seeing something over and over, the same exact thing in the same exact way, even if it's great, you want a little variety, a little spice. That's why it's important for you as a woman to be true to yourself. And that way you don't people please to the point where you're trying to be this guy's ideal woman so that he'll want more of you. That's not always the case. You know, you have to be true to yourself. If you don't like something or if you don't agree with something, it's important for you to say it. Just that little change of energy, just that little feminine attitude you may have gotten about something he said that was very inappropriate or racist or whatever it was that you didn't like, it didn't align with you. Something as small as that can shift the relationship to where he sees you in a different way, makes you more interesting. You're not like everybody else. Do things that are going to spice things up. Change your hairstyle. Now, I change it more often than the average person because I get bored more often than the average person. So I like to look different. I like to have a different mood or a different energy depending on how I'm feeling. And my hairstyle on any given day is an expression of whatever I'm feeling or whatever I want to exude. But be willing to change. Be willing to do something adventurous. Show a different side of you. It's important to at least be open to modifying things a bit. Men really enjoy that, and it's good for you. Try different things. This world is huge. There are so many things that you don't know and you haven't explored. So many people you haven't spoken to. There are so many things to absorb. Don't get stuck. That is so important. Now, of course, I'm going to mention your physical appearance because that is crucial. Men are visual creatures. They're moved more by what they see than we are. So that's important to know. And this is a long-term thing. It's not just when you're dating, especially if they fell in love with your style. Maybe you have a really unique style and all of a sudden now you don't care about how you look. You wear sweats all the time. You don't do your hair. You don't throw on any makeup or jewelry or perfume, and you've gotten really stale. That happens so naturally. It's not even like you probably even want to do that. It's just when you get comfortable with someone, sometimes you just start letting things go a bit because you know that they like you, right? So you don't want to feel like you're doing it for him. You want to know that you're doing it for yourself, which is what I preach in all of my videos about caring for yourself. And ultimately, a man is going to want to be part of that. And changing it up is the best way to keep anyone interested. You should see what happens when I go to work. They're like, ooh, I love just running into you because I never know what you're going to look like. Same thing my mom would tell me when I would walk out of my room. She would say, Michelle, I never know who I'm going to see. And that is a fun feeling for people because you like it. You're rocking it. You're not wearing your hairstyles and your outfits like you're insecure about them. You're wearing them like, yeah, bet you didn't know about this side. That's so interesting to people and it's fun for you. So get used to switching it up and not always being so predictable. Let him get to know that you have dimensions and he's gonna love that. Another feminine way of keeping a man interested in you long term is by leaving him alone and practicing stillness. Now, I know I discuss stillness a lot in my videos, but it is necessary that we as women know how to slow down and sometimes stop. Just stop. You need to stop in order to be able to reflect on your own self. Once you've been dating and getting to know one another and spending time together, you might start to see a shift in his energy. And that's because you're in a space where he's planning for the next thing. If he wants to marry you, that's where his focus and energy is going towards. So unless you are inspiring him in some way by your behavior, he's probably going to move on to the next goal. It doesn't mean that he's not interested in you. It just means that now that this is kind of taken care of, on to the next thing. However, you can find ways to kind of bring him back, and that is going to require you to go away. And I know that sounds like, what do you mean? I want to talk to him. That's the problem. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in whoever we're dating that every time we feel a disconnect, like, oh wow, it's been 6 hours and I haven't heard from him. Who's he with? Even when you're in a marriage, you will find yourself wanting your husband to chase you, and you'll do it in different ways in a marriage. And I'll do another video specifically on that. But even in a marriage, you can find yourself wanting your husband to chase you and feeling like you're doing things to try to get his attention. You're trying to guilt him into spending more time with you, or even expecting so much out of him as a man to fulfill so many roles for you in your life that you're forgetting about what you have. And you have so much. The most important thing you have is yourself. And spending time in stillness is so important if you're feeling like you're missing something, because you can then be more aware of your thoughts. You will have time to think about what you really want. Think about things that you're struggling with. Think about ways you can help other people. You will have time to sit down with no interruptions and reflect. And during those times, especially if you are married and you're finding that your husband is not seeking you out like he used to, he's not as interested, maybe you are already doing all these things that you think should work and they're not, that stillness is time for you to connect with God and talk to God and ask for help and ask for guidance and blessings upon your marriage. Because there are some things that only God can reverse. And God can change your husband's heart. Believe it or not, I've seen it happen. It's possible. It's important that you don't assume all of this responsibility for someone else's actions. Sometimes you just have to go to the source. But allowing for those still moments in your day is important. It helps you to reshift your energy. It helps you to reevaluate what you really need. And while you're not talking to him, he's missing you. But if a man really wants you, you don't ever have to worry about him chasing you. Especially if he realizes that you're not operating in desperation. That is so attractive to a man. So it's important for you to leave him alone. Don't blow up his phone. Don't ask him why he hasn't texted you. Don't badger him. Give him that freedom and that space, and then that'll encourage him to want to spend time with you. And you might think, oh, but what if you're married to him? What if you're living with him? How can I leave him alone? Well, you can go somewhere. You can go shopping. You can spend time working on your craft. You can be doing something creative. You can be in your own zone. Even if you're in the same space, you don't have to be around him. You can make him chase you in your own house. Now again, marriage is very tricky and it's a different ball game, and I'll do a video just for that. However, the understanding must be there that he needs that time to himself. He needs to go out with his friends. He needs to go and do whatever he needs to do and have that alone time and recharge and come back and be better for you. You being around him all the time diminishes some of that allure that you may have had. It's just natural. You spend so much time with someone and you get that familiarity and you get that comfort, and sometimes a little too comfortable. Another way to keep a man chasing you and interested in you long term is through femininity. Femininity is one of the most attractive things to a man. Not just the feminine exterior, which is important, but true femininity lies in your ability to be loving and nurturing and compassionate and care about yourself. So that means that you're up to par with your hygiene. You smell good. Your teeth are clean. Your breath smells fresh. Your clothes are clean. Your clothes look like you put some effort into it. You're doing things like smiling. Okay, that's something so basic and we talk about it a lot, but it's part of femininity. You will be shocked at how you can make a man just melt by smiling. You don't have to even do anything. Just look at him and Smile. Appear interested in him. Something a lot of us women neglect to understand is the power of our femininity. You are born with this stuff. The way that you move, the way that you look at him. Mindfulness, which is why I asked you to practice being still and managing your thoughts. Practice being in the moment and being present. That will make any man want to be in your company over and over again. Whenever he's with you, you are there. You're looking into his eyes. You're in the present moment with him. You know how to receive. When you receive, you do it to where he feels that energy, like you really appreciated it, you really liked it. So be a cheerful receiver. And I know that so many of you want me to like act it out for you so you can mimic it, but it has to be part of your own personality. If you mimic how I receive or what I would normally do, it might look totally crazy on you. Okay, because it doesn't go with your own natural personality. So focus on the key, which is being a cheerful receiver. For example, if my fiance gifted me with something that was really nice, I might feel on the inside like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And I want to dance, I want to jump. I'm like so happy. But I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to show him that I care. So I'm just like, thank you, thanks. And it's not to say you have to put on a show, but you do have to show that you are appreciative. So instead, I could choose to receive it like this. Oh my goodness. And you can give him a hug, you can give him a kiss, but really show him that you're happy about it. Let him know how much it really meant to you, and know that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry if you're so happy or so touched that he did this for you. It's okay to show him that. Now, I will say that true femininity in its essence should only really be given to your husband. I think in terms of being fully vulnerable and just fully open, that is reserved for the man who's going to make you his wife. However, I know we're not all looking to be married, but you do open yourself up to risk when you are that vulnerable and that feminine in all aspects to any man. But that's another conversation for another day. In sum, I want you to practice femininity. Practice being a cheerful receiver. Practice wearing high heels and looking like a lady. It's important, especially in marriage, when you've been together for a long time. You might start being his homegirl, okay? You have to remind him. And that can be just with your attitude, with the way that you look. You are his wife. You are his woman. You are not his homegirl. You can be his friend, but you're not his homegirl. And that is a reminder that comes through your actions and your appearance. Sweetie, everyone wants to be around someone who is going to be kind and loving and beautiful. We all do. We all want more of it. Especially a person who has a little bit of animation, a little bit of life. If that person is going to be willing to pour into you and love on you, a man is going to want that in his life badly, because it's very difficult to find someone who even really cares. Especially when he sees you showing that to the world. When you're compassionate to people and you're giving to people and you're kind to people, he is watching you. He knows what you're doing, and he's going to want to pour more into you because he knows that you're pouring into other people. If you're spending your money on hygiene kits for the homeless, and you're spending your money buying orphans toys for Christmas or doing giveaways on YouTube, that beautiful energy is going to motivate him to want to pour more into you. He's going to want to get you things or give you money so that you can do these things. He's going to want to pour into you because he sees what kind of woman you are. And that's so interesting and exciting to him that you love the way that you do. And it's going to draw him into you because love is the highest vibration. Love is the highest form of energy. So as a feminine woman, if you're showing love in the way that you care and nurture your body and yourself and your presence, the way that you speak to him and care for him and the world, that is going to make anyone interested long term. If you have anything that you want to share, please do, because we all have wisdom, and these are not the only ways to have someone interested in you, but it's the one way that preserves you. No matter what happens, no matter if this person walks away, you have these beautiful, wonderful traits. With your qualities and your lifestyle, you can attract anyone. I thank you ladies so much for spending your time with me today. Thank you for listening and being present. Thank you so much for your lovely comments and your kind words and your well wishes and blessings. I love you all so much. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at A Feminine Impression for more femininity inspiration, and my personal Instagram at Ghana_goddess. I wish you butterflies a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Peace, love, and light.